So, good morning, America. Good morning, Germany. Good morning, Switzerland. Good morning, London. Um, I just wish to keep setting up the tone for these podcasts and for the kind of t shirt that I am. If I can say that I'm a particular subject or object in description. So, think about Osho, yet without the orgies, because lately I'm not even interested in sex. Kind of like when your masculine and feminine energy merges into one, and you are the perfect balance, genderless unity, six density being. There's no really a need or want for sex. It's kind of gross. It's like two bodies just like humping each other. Like I think an orgy must be like even more intense. So I'm not interested. Yet I do accept uh, gold purses. One of my students brought me a Chanel bag as an offering. I do receive Chanel bags, Bitcoin. What else? Any type of crypto, money, lots of money. Uh, Reading poems and love letters because honestly, when I was more human, I was a hopeless romantic. Now I don't let that fool me, but I do appreciate. I love cigars, so I have like the best. How you call this? It's not a lighter. It's like beautiful thing I called the it's the Bugatti, the Cadillac. I accept cars too. Like I love cars. Bugatti, Cadillac, Rolls Royce. I love smells, so perhaps like beautiful, delicious essential oils. I love plants. Um, and I think with the monies is I'm building a lot of things. The first thing I'm building is the Center of Peace, World Peace, located in Panama City, Panama. Um, and the one located in Panama, Playa Benao. So it's kind of like the institution of world peace. And also, it's going to be kind of like a modern ashram center, centerless center. And this is just to start. Holy moly smokes. If you guys would have seen the things that we have gone through in this now ashram situationship, it's been crazy, but we're getting there. So that's why we decided that mentorships are now 500,000 for 1 year. There's packages for 1 million or more as well. And there's packages of 30,000 USD for 1 month. And then there's 4 months for 100,000. Those are the contributions in which you get mentorship and private time with me to bring you back to yourself, to the non-self that you are. So yes, I'll support your liberation. Yet we're gonna use all of these resources to keep building the centers and the super epic, modern, high end, high class type of enlightened ashram. Because honestly, I'm not the monk that sold his Ferrari. I'm the monk that kept the Ferrari and bought five more and invited all his students to go ride the Ferraris with her. So yeah, it's kind of like what we're doing. And what we're gonna do with the private jet is you, by the way. It's the body, because my body's liberated. I am the private jet. So the moment you connect with me, you are in an accelerated journey of expansion. But we are getting a jet because we're gonna lead ayahuasca journeys on the jet with business owners and CEOs, and we're gonna put all the plans inside the jet, and you're gonna be in your suits and your whatever your work gear. And yeah, I'm gonna bring the facilitators, which is not like shamans. It's not gonna be like type of like when you have to go to Peru to the mountains and all of that. Um, yeah, no, you're gonna be able to drop into the medicine in a way that's like you're hanging out, like you're in a club. Like I'm gonna bring a stripper too. Like you can, so after the ayahuasca journey, there's a stripper, and she's gonna be like your central priestess shaman, and she's gonna dance. I have a strip pole like outside the recording studio. To me, being enlightened as Ilian or whatever my name means, it's not about being the monk that's so peaceful. It's about being a high roller. It's about uh, playing poker and investing like what 24 million just to see what happens. It's about go and enjoying the beauty and the senses and the pleasure, and you to be lit up and use your enlightened consciousness to have fun, real fun. Of course, there's some disclaimers. Um, as I said, you guys can learn how to be empowered, learn how to be liberated, learn how to know that there's absolutely no I behind the eyeballs. Yet, I want everybody to be like, let's make it in this way, like a mutant, like the X-Men mansion of mutants. Okay, everybody has their unique superpower. You have something that only you can teach. So when we get another center, this is the first location, but we're going to have locations in Costa Rica, in Medellin. We're tapping into Europe. I love Barcelona, but let's start here. This one is already like taking epic shape. And there's going to be different rooms. So like if one of you have an amazing gift that you want to bring and teach with the other students and the world, you can have your own classroom and you can share your expertise. Kind of like if you had your own YouTube channel, there's going to be recordings, and we're going to empower you and use the resources to enhance your creativity. So there's wellness centers. So in this one right now, we have already like the hot tub, the sauna, the ice bath, a deck for practicing yoga and movement and dancing. So it's about every aspect of life. Not everything has to be so serious. Not everything is recording. Not everything is wellness and yoga. And not everything is sensual pleasure. We can have a little bit of everything. And of course, if you're going to meet other students, there has to be consent, right? You can ask people on dates and things like that. But I'm not here like what is it, promoting celibacy, like, and I've done it and I'm kind of in it right now, and it's really, that's also a beautiful path that you can take, because it allows you to use your Shi Kundalini energy to purify your chakra centers, and then to allow your full-on rainbow body, which is kind of what the upgrade that my vehicle is going through. But there's also a period where you're like extremely sexual. Like when I had my Kundalini awakening, I was having Kundalini orgasms like 24/7 for like a year. Yeah. And there's going to be classes in that on how to use your sexual energy wisely, how to use that to create and riches and monies and manifest. Yet you need to have a pure intention. That's the thing. The reason it's so easy for me to receive funds, which I call fun coupons, is because I have one of the purest intentions for humanity. And I know that what I do with the resources is going to benefit the whole. So you need to have a pure intention. But once you're so pure in your intention, then you become a money magician, and money chases you and it comes to you. But you need to know what to do with it. So we can ground you into knowing what is it that is your unique thing that no one else can do. And you can have other roles, right? We're going to have internship applications, and whatever your expertise is, you can share with our facilities and all the things. But I'm going ahead. I'm sharing things that already happened, but they're in like a year from now, 2 years from now. For now, what is really hot is the mentorships and the high-end contributions. As I said yesterday, I have the lowest ticket barrier if you really, really need a little bridge to live in the frequency of riches and abundance like I do, is 1,111. And then there's another one that's 2,222, which gives you a full week process. And from there, the prices just go higher to 12,000 for the Divergent Sage mentorship, which is I take 12 beings in a container every quarter. Then from there, it's 30,000 for a month, 4,000. No, there's no 4,000 offering. 4 months for 100,000, and then 1 year is 500,000. And therefore, a million or more, we have to talk, and it's really personalized what I can do with that for you and with you, and perhaps some in-person meetings as well for your contributions to the vision and for the center and for all that we're building here. Yeah. So there's no sense of identity when you discover that you are not a separate personality. That means that you are just energy, empty vast space, and whatever passes through you is just the thought forms of the field of the moment. So the big quest, the big journey to, let's say, nirvana, which it's kind of bullshit because, also another disclaimer, I'm not like they say like you take your personality all the way to the absolute. It seems that without my conditioning, I was never kind of like a nice girl. So my style of teaching is kind of like a dumb, like if you have to put a type in like billions, it's dominatrix vibe. So sometimes I teach with insults and with really shaking up your ego, not because I mean it, but because it's an easy way to snap you out of it. Because I can come here and share a satsang or a talk of like a so long hour of theory, or I can say one little thing that you're gonna be like, the fuck did she said? Like, she's serious? And then like, whoa, I got it. Like, it's like a slap. And then you're like out of it. And then I save you like what, 10 lifetimes of suffering. Like, I think to save you 10 lifetimes of suffering, a Chanel bag may be worth it. But honestly, like I loved it because it was pretty, but I prefer gold or crypto or cash, you know. We can do other things for the center with that. Yeah. So I am so simple, man. I just love baggy clothes too, you know. I have to like pretend to be a woman and a girl when I go out and I do all those photo shoots. But dude, I feel such like a little boy being like, I'm honestly like a little boy. But suddenly my avatar is like a hot girl, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, you got the code there. So let's let's go with the satsang. And if you cannot like fully uh get what I'm saying, don't try to get it. Just like tap into the frequency of my voice, because the embodiment of that which I am, that I wish for you to recognize in you, it's just through the subtlety of how it feels when you hear this. Tap into the feeling, tap into the knowing, tap into easy. It's all easy. So you are not what you think you are. You're the awareness beyond that experiencing and all in between. And in that relaxation, like the beauty of this liberated mind is that you stop desiring. And this is a paradox because here I teach you heart's desire. I teach you excitement. I teach you riches and monies, which is just correct energy exchanges and just having more energy to create awesome things in the world. And for yourself and to excel at your uniqueness. So it's more like for you to be alive and passionate about life again. It's just not an enlightenment that is like, because I can do that. And I kind of like, I'm like that the whole day. But after a while, it becomes like, you lose the ability to identify with anything. You stop thinking about work or worry about the future or think about the past or regret something or get lashed into a story. There's no more storylines to lash into because you recognize that you are truly present. And in the present, there's everything that you want, need, and more. So you start to experience true pleasure, not pleasure that arises from a future event, from a goal or an accomplishment, but just the pleasure of the joy of your existence. The pleasure of the joy of your existence. It's an easeful recognition of the one in the one as God, as you. So there's no more separation, that thinking you are a separate entity going through an obstacle course called life and that there is some monster that you need to defeat because you embody all presence in the present moment. I'm gonna search for something. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's what it is. It's a Lamborghini. That's what I'm searching. I'm like, what's the new car? It's a Lamborghini. Okay. That's all that I was thinking in my meditation. See, this is the thing. When the mind goes blank, the only thing that comes into mind is whatever it's supposed to be the focus on the moment. And then it manifests right away because there's no other thoughts. So the only thing that you gotta do, and this is because we call this in the ashram the Lambo, by the way, because it's one of the best cigar activators. Wow. Do I have some cigars? Let's see. I do. What's in this bag? The pony. We call this one the pony. That one I need to take to the city. I think my brother's got to fill it in. This one's on. You can fill me up with more of these too. There's some simple things that I enjoy, guys. It's like good coffee, good cigars, good company. Like company in which some of you are like that. Some of you are my favorite students. And I'm like, when we hang out and we're in our mentorship calls and you like, we reflect back to each other, it's the best time ever. So I enjoy really that a lot. And part of raising so much more funds is because I'm going to be able to invite you guys to come hang out in person when the spaces are fully ready. If you don't die before that, I have students that are like really old. Hopefully you don't die before that. Because It's just a concept though, because I feel this is why that happens, because I feel like I'm 500. For people to really understand where I'm coming from and my level of consciousness and my mind, it's usually people that have lived, that are already like are mature enough to understand. But somebody my human years age, like um 29, it's like they're babies. Like people my age usually they're just like babies. The beauty of that is not the human years, because beings can be like quote unquote old bodies, but their spirits is like wise. Like they can be 700, but their hearts is like little kid. Because the enlightened being, it's like a little kid. You know, it's like it's the joy of their inner child. So this is another exercise you can use to realize the self. Here it goes. Are you really sitting on a chair or laying in your bed when you're watching this? Think about it. What is it that's really laying on the chair, sitting on the chair, or resting in bed? How do you know that that's really true? Because all you can feel is a sensation. All you can truly tap into is the sensation of the chair, the sensation of the bed, the sensation of Ilian's voice, the cigar. Whatever this personality is saying. Oh, okay. How do you truly know that's a fact? How do you know it's truly happening? It's just because it feels a certain way, because you feel the chair pressing against your butt, or you feel the bed sheets pressing against your skin, and then it seems like you're resting in bed or sitting on a chair. But how can you truly know that? How can you know that? And what is it that is resting on the chair or laying in the bed? What is it that's truly you? Is there even something called you? Is that even a possibility? Is that truly you? Or all that you can recognize is your sensation? How does this feels like? You don't even need food, by the way. I don't need to eat. I just eat for a sensation. But the body regenerates itself. You can live off air and energy when you have no thoughts. Because what consumes energy is the mind just going with righteous thoughts and stories and ideas and concepts. But when the mind's empty, you don't even need food, because you don't need to feed those stories. See how it's not so beneficial to have an ego and stories? I mean, and you're always going to have a personality, as you can see. Like there's a character that comes to the front to express something, to use the vehicle for a specific task. Um, but I'm not attached to it, and I can become anything else. Just depends on what I want to be in the moment. At some point, you start like, it's like when you cross the eye of the needle of like the new state of consciousness of the quantum jump of the investment of like um whatever it is that it scares you to do, you're not going to be the same consciousness. You're not going to be the same personality because you act your way into new thinking and you become that new version of yourself, the embodiment of your higher self, and you keep going in your journey of expansion. So the only thing that's truly permanent is impermanence. You always keep expanding and contracting and growing and evolving and all those yummy things. Life is not supposed to be stagnant. It's life. And until you get full liberation, you're going to keep reincarnating. So either you advance or you repeat. So you have no other choice that go through it. I had a really, really cool session with one of you who's probably watching yesterday. And he told me he was staying in one of Sadhguru's ashrams, and it was pretty cool conversation. And how beautiful that we can have all these different teachers and everybody with a different modality of explaining the same thing. We're basically all pointing you to the same thing. Different styles, different ways. Yet it's all the same thing. And it's the release of suffering, the relief of the monkey mind, the ability to just exist without the fear of dying. Because ultimately, everything that creates suffering is a story that is being perpetuated because you're too scared to not be that. Because if I don't believe in that story, then I'm the mother or the father or the teacher or the mentor, or I don't even believe that. I use that as a skill, as a tool to transmit what I have become. But if you truly believe you are that personality, that CEO, that president, that governor, that whatever, or that wife or that husband or that, then you are attached to the story because you don't want you don't want to realize you're not that, because then the truth of what you are, that is the vastness, is just too much to handle because it's a void, it's emptiness. It's like, what do you mean that all the stories and all the things that I thought I was, to keep protecting that separate self into its own existence because I cannot believe that I'm not that, because it's too much to handle to just realize that I'm nothingness. Ta-da. Getting that delicious realization, you realize your everythingness, because nothingness can only exist as a particular function. So the reason you're everythingness is because you exist as a function to fulfill a specific need of the moment. So you're always serving the whole and serving yourself. But you're either asleep doing that like a sheep with fear, or you claim all your power without claim. That's a subtlety. That's a paradox. That's a dragon. You remember. So that's like, I want to explain the subtlety of that word, because it's just that you realize that you've always claimed all power without claiming it, because there's no way you cannot be all power, because all power is divine love. And it's always been in the background. So you don't need to own it because nothing's yours. You're just a steward of it. You can choose responsibility, and you can choose to be a vehicle and channel of God's will. That's a better way to put it. To not get swayed by then the ego saying it's mine, because anything that's yours, me or mine, then you're fucked. Then it's like, ooh, rabbit hole of another demonic entity of like, that's mine. No, nothing's mine. Everything's God's. Yeah, you can use that to bypass and then not take responsibility for your own life and your power, which is why I call this level 5 enlightenment, because, I'm enlightened awareness. Then what? Then use your vehicle to exert your function. That's a better way to say it. And what's your function? People experiencing your highest joy, because you can only experience yourself through the other. So whatever brings you the most joy, when you see people experiencing that, that's your function. And your function is perfect happiness. And your function is a perfect peace for God's will in salvation for humanity. We all are an important piece in humanity's salvation. So there's these ways of non-duality where you're like, oh, tap into the I am and then let go of that and then go beyond. Or mm, or you can use your biggest fear as the fuel to realize that safety is all there is. Because you're safe and loved just because you exist. Because you don't. Or you can just act in what scares you the most. Again and again and again. To see that you're even free of that. And the luminosity, the radiance of the light of truth shines effortlessly. Everything becomes vivid and vibrant, and wow, you can truly see that love, peace, light was all there is. Love, peace, light, joy, happiness. It's always been here. There's no middleman.